like you really just should have paid for all of our food.
For one, I'm not paying for everybody's food. It's your birthday, cool, but I'm not doing that. It's 18.
Why do T gotta pay for all y'all food though?
You brought 18 friends. I'm finna leave you. You staying here with them or you coming with me?
Whoa, bro! I'm gonna make this short because for the most part, I think most people are in agreement with the guy in this situation. There's no reason why this guy should have to pay for 18 of her friends to come to a birthday party. And I'll just say this real quickly and really short. First of all, one thing I've noticed about people who come to birthday parties where there's somebody else paying, number one, those people always tend to have crocodile arms when it comes to, number one, giving gifts, or number two, when it comes to actually giving the waiter a tip. I've noticed, and I don't know if you can attest to this too, sometimes you'll go out with friends, and let's say it's especially friends from your job. Now, here in New York City, if we go someplace inside the city, I guarantee you a lot of the people, before everybody is like finished at the end, you always get people who come and then all of a sudden they'll drink or eat something and then all of a sudden they got to go. And they leave real early before a tip ever comes up. It's like they refuse to tip to the point where they are determined to get out of there as quickly as possible. However, that's not the situation here. The situation here, I feel that there were certain things that should have been done in the first place in order to prevent something like this from happening. Number one, did they send out invitations? A lot of people I've noticed, and I don't know if this is a millennial thing or if it's Generation Z, people don't send out invitations. Like even me, I got a party coming up on the 24th, and I got an RSVP that I had to resend, and I had to email that back so this way the person knows I'm coming. And if you send out invitations and the person lets you know up front if you're coming, that allows you to plan for how many people are actually going to be there at this party in the first place. Number two, on that invitation, it tells the people whether or not they themselves have to pay or if everything's being covered. Did this guy and her sit down and talk about having this party and whether or not her friends were going to have to pay? Because she'd have to be out of her goddamn mind to imagine that he's going to pay for 18 people at a rate typically nowadays of about $30 per person to sit down and eat. 18 times 30? Really? I have to wonder about that one. Now, I'm pretty blessed where I can literally say that if something costs up to about $1,000 to have a party at a restaurant for, let's say, my mother or my father for their 70th birthday. Like, for example, I had a party for my mother's birthday, and I think it was when she turned 60. I took her to City Island, and we put out a general invitation to our family. And sure enough, you always get people in your family. They'll tell you they're sick and they don't show up to anything else. But all of a sudden, when you have a City Island party, all of a sudden these motherfuckers show up out of thin air. And if any, I know she's not listening to this, but if she heard it, she'd know I'm talking about her. They say, oh, I'm sick. I can't go. I'm coughing. I can't go. But as soon as they find out you're paying for it and you're having it at a special place, Tavern on the Green or City Island, all of a sudden these motherfuckers show up. Now, the majority of my family, if, there's certain people, they show up, I don't really have a problem paying for it out of my own pocket, especially if it's my idea to host it for the other people in my family. But when you've got certain people who never do nothing for you, never have nothing to say to you, don't call you to find out how you feeling, don't ask nothing, all of a sudden these motherfuckers show up with their hands out and they all got crocodile arms. So they're not offering nothing. They don't come with cards and shit, no gift card, nothing. But they just they just got there to eat, basically. I heard my mom say that one time. They just got there to eat. So for my mom and my father, if I was going to have a party for them, I know that I'm footing the whole bill. I don't expect them to pay anything out of pocket. So I know that shit's going on my credit card and I'm getting some points. But in this situation, I have to wonder, what was the arrangement? What is this woman to this guy? Is this a baby daddy? Is this her husband? If it's your husband, okay, 18 people, $30 a person, yeah, you expect about $600. Even if it was $1,000, I would assume if this was your plan that you should have about $600 to $1,000. But I don't think that that was how this went down. I think he put out a general request that people come and show up, but there was no determination as to who was paying for it up front, especially because I don't believe they had an RSMVP. I don't think they had a reservation specifically telling people, yeah, you have to pay for this. The reason why I'm using this receipt is because I searched on the internet because I was looking for a $2,000 bill that I could use just as, a backdrop for the anecdote. I'm very, very careful when I go out to places with people where there is no formal specified amount that we're supposed to pay. And then you see liquor involved. As we all know, liquor can get very expensive when you got these people ordering mixed drinks and, oh, I'll have this virgin or I'll have this with rum and blah, blah, blah. I went out with some friends one time to a restaurant in New York called Carmine's. And it was funny because just as I already said, you had some of their friends show up. They were drinking. Some of them stayed to eat. Some of them didn't stay to eat. But by the end of the night, I hadn't drank anything. I abstained from the alcohol because I knew something was going to go up. And I abstained from alcohol entirely. I just drank soda. But sure, by the end of the night, my friends, now this was their birthday party. They just said, oh, yeah, we just want people to show up. We just want you to show up. By the end of the night, there was a $2,000 bill waiting for them. And sure enough, the people who had popped in and popped out, they didn't stay around to the very end, but they got their drink on and then they were out of there. And my thing was this, especially because nowadays restaurants charge gratuity, and the gratuities tend to be higher if you have a table with a party of 7 or 8 or something like that. I think it might even be 6. All of a sudden, people just disappear. So my thing is, bottom line is, this ratchet ass shit, I'm starting a whole new segment called Ratchet Ass Shit because I think this is some ratchet ass shit. These women are entitled and they seem to believe that people are supposed to pay their way whether or not they're getting anything out of it. And this entitlement ratchet ass shit needs to stop. So that's just how I feel about it. But you let me know what you think. This I know somebody's going to be doing a live stream on the Manosphere about this, so I know I'm going to be on that later. But you tell me what you think. You can put your comments down there. I mean, I'm pretty sure I know what you're going to say, but you tell me what you think.